Of you. In this class, I am going to start with another important topic of chapter molecular basis of inheritance, and the topic is experimental proof of semi-conservative nature of DNA. First, before going to start, first revise our previous class content, and in previous class we have already discussed about the DNA, structure of DNA and the characteristics of DNA, where the bDNA is a right-handed DNA. The distance of one coil of DNA is about 34 angstrom, distance in between the two nitrogenous bases is about 3.4 angstrom, and the width of one DNA is 20 angstrom. If we consider in meter, then it would be 2 nanometers. So let us discuss about the DNA molecule, structure of DNA molecule, where the DNA molecule is formed by, or DNA is formed by the polynucleotide chain, and two polynucleotide chain coil each other and form the double helical structure, in which both the strands are anti-parallel in direction, and two strands actually formed by the polynucleotide chain. Each nucleotide consists of or formed by three components. These components are pentose sugar, nitrogenous bases are purine and pyrimidine, purines are adenine and guanine, pyrimidines are cytosine and thymine. Now, except these nitrogenous bases, phosphorus are also present. Now phosphate group is also present, and these three components combine each other by the different bond, by the phosphate diester bond, by the hydrogen bond, and by the glycosidic linkage, and collectively form the polynucleotide chain. And DNA molecule consists two polynucleotide chain which are present anti-parallel to each other. Now, in the search of DNA or genetic material, different scientists came and discovered and proposed a different experiment. For example, transforming principle was given by Griffith in 1928, and according to the Griffith experiment, when he was material, DNA is the genetic material according to the two scientists. That was the two scientists was Martha Chase and Alfred Hershey. Hershey or Martha did the experiment on the bacteriophage in 1952, or according to them, the DNA is the genetic material, because by the centrifugation process of the E. coli, when infected by the bacteriophage virus, the viruses are able to infect the bacteria, and they transfer only their genetic material in the bacteria. By the genetic material, when they transfer their genetic material in the bacteria and the cytoplasm of bacteria, now with the help of bacterial content, the genetic material itself produce the content of bacteriophages, and thus the E. coli form the function as a factory of bacteriophages, and they form the bacteriophages inside the cytoplasm of bacteria, or bacteria itself form the bacteriophages with the help of their genetic material, also said to be genetic material. Now they centrifuge that genetic material when they infected by the bacteriophages, or by for differentiating the bacteriophage DNA and the E. coli DNA, they use to grew the bacteriophages on the genetic material, on the different radioactive material, that is on radioactive sulfur. They used radioactive sulfur and radioactive phosphorus, for differentiating between the protein and DNA of bacteria and the E. coli, and thus he obtained that in the E. coli, after centrifugation and blending and centrifugation, they obtained that DNA is the genetic material. The DNA actually transferred into the cell of the bacteria. By this experiment, it is clear that the DNA is genetic material, because when the Oswald MacLean did the experiment by chemical characterization of transforming principle, actually almost most of the scientists do not convenient on the experiment did by the Oswald, MacLean or McCarthy. But when they Hershey and Martha Chase did the experiment. When they did the experiment on the bacteriophage, most of the scientists were convenienced. Sorry. So let us discuss about the today's topic, experimental proof, because this topic is inside the replication. So because according to the Watson and Crick, the evidence of the replication, they proposed that during the replication process, both the strand when function as a template strand for the synthesis of new strand. So every daughter DNA have one parent strand and one newly synthesized strand. That type of strand is known as semi-conservative nature of the DNA, because of the DNA have one parental strand and one newly synthesized strand after the synthesis process. So here in this class we discuss about the experimental proof of the semi-conservative nature of DNA. Proof of semi-conservative nature of DNA. Semi-conservative nature of DNA. How they prove that the DNA is semi-conservative? That is proved by the two scientists, Michelson and Strahal. So how they in 1958, how they prove that the DNA have the semi-conservative nature? So first we discuss the proposal of the Watson and Crick. So Watson and Crick proposed the central dogma hypothesis, also proposed the how the replication takes place by the DNA molecule. During the replication, one strand, according to the Watson and Crick, here is Watson and Crick. So they propose that the double helical structure of DNA, when they undergoes in replication process, so the double or triple hydrogen bond breaks before the replication process, or the segment which undergoes in the replication process, because whole DNA the whole DNA or whole genetic material together do not undergoes in the replication process. The small section of DNA only the small section of DNA undergoes in the replication process. During the replication process, first the breakdown of the double or triple hydrogen bond in between the two polynucleotide chain breaks by the different enzyme. We discussed later during in the machinery of replication or the replication process whole step by step, but in this first we only discuss the overview of the replication process. That first the breakdown of these double or triple hydrogen bond, or after the breakdown, both the synthesis of both the strand function as a template strand, and because of the both the strands are anti-parallel in direction, so one strand, if they show the polarity in the direction of 5' to 3' in direction, so the synthesis always takes place in 5' to 3' direction, because they also follow the opposite polarity of the strand, because the strands do not both the strands of polynucleotide chain or DNA molecule do not have in the same direction, or they show the anti-parallel. The direction of newly synthesized strand would be anti-parallel. Also they show anti-parallel, or also they show the opposite polarity. That means the synthesis always takes place in 5' to 3' in direction, because for example for the synthesis of this strand, this strand function as a template strand, because first if they are mother parental DNA. So here is 5 prime, here is 5 prime, or here is 3 prime. So synthesis always takes place in 5 prime to 3 prime direction, or they also consider or denoted as they have to be in the anti-parallel direction. So here is 3 prime, so the synthesis always takes place in 5 prime to 3 prime direction. Thus when the synthesis done, so here is the parental strand where the direction is 5 prime to 3 prime, and the this strand, because synthesis fully done, so this strand is anti-parallel in direction 5 prime to fully synthesized fully synthesized DNA. It is fully synthesized DNA, and the daughter DNA have one parental strand which have the direction of 5 prime to 3 prime, and also have the one newly synthesized DNA. That means the newly synthesized DNA, for example, here is the parental DNA 3 prime, and here is 5 prime, and the synthesis takes place into 5 prime to that, and the DNA is fully synthesized. So here is 3 prime. The two strands of DNA get fully synthesized, and these two strands are actually semi-conservative, because the two strand by the replication process. So this process, the synthesis process, is said to be replication process. We discuss it later. Now in this class we only discuss the semi-conservative nature of the DNA. So here is the parental strand, and this is the newly synthesized DNA. Similarly, with the other strand of DNA, double helical structure, there is also the one parental strand. Here is parental strand, and this one is newly synthesized DNA. For on the basis of presence of one parental strand and the one newly synthesized DNA, the DNA is said to be semi-conservative in nature. Now let us discuss about the experiment done by the Matthew Michelson and the Franklin Strehol in 1958 to prove the semi-conservative nature of the double helical structure or DNA molecule. So Matthew Michelson and Franklin Strehol did the experiment to prove that the DNA is semi-conservative. First, they are experimenting on the E. coli bacteria, because in the E. coli bacteria the DNA is also double helical structure, or the double helical DNA is also present in the E. coli bacteria. First, they grew the E. coli bacteria in the heavy ammonium chloride. E. coli bacteria in heavy ammonium chloride, that is N15 nitrogen, heavy isotope. Actually it is not the radioactive, it is isotope. Heavy nitrogen, he used the N15 ammonium chloride. For this, when they grew, because in the heavy every E. coli bacteria reproduce or undergoes in the replication process, they reproduce or form within 20 minutes. Only in 20 minutes they undergoes in replication, or they form the new bacteria, or the reproduction process takes place in E. coli in every 20 minutes. So after every 20 minutes they get just double or multiply. So the replication, when they grew in the heavy ammonium chloride, then in the second step they isolate these E. coli bacteria, or they isolate their genetic material with the help of the cesium chloride. Cesium chloride. Isolate or separate DNA in cesium chloride. So cesium chloride, with the help of cesium chloride, or also according to the density gradient, the DNA with heavy nitrogen collected near the bottom of the test tube. When they centrifuge in the presence of cesium chloride, or isolate or separate the DNA with the help of cesium chloride and centrifugation process, result with the help of centrifugation, the DNA molecule collected at the bottom of the test tube, or they observe actually when they treat or observe the cesium chloride DNA molecule near the bottom of the test tube. In the first experiment. So during the first experiment, the Michelson and Esterhol, when they did the experiment on the E. coli bacteria, in 1958, what they did actually with the E. coli bacteria, first they grew the E. coli bacteria in the medium of heavy ammonium chloride, or heavy ammonium chloride, that means nitrogen of N15 isotope. He used the N15 isotope of nitrogen. Then they isolate or separate the DNA in the medium of cesium chloride, or after the centrifugation process, because as we know the centrifugation process help in the separation of DNA in the medium of cesium chloride, the DNA become separated, that means both the strands become separated. When they by the centrifugation process, when they obtain the DNA in the test tube, all the DNA molecules collected near the bottom, that shows the heavy nitrogen, that means N15. The DNA is formed by the N15, because E. coli bacteria replicate every time, and the duration of the replication is about 20 minutes, or after the 20 minutes they centrifuge the content or E. coli in the medium of cesium chloride, and they obtain the nitrogen or DNA molecule near the bottom of the test tube. In the second experiment, immediately after the centrifugation, they also took some bacteria and grew in the N15 bacteria, which previously they grew in the N15 heavy nitrogen with ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride have the heavy nitrogen. In the presence of heavy nitrogen, they grew in the medium of heavy nitrogen, or he obtained that. Then some of the bacteria they transfer into the normal ammonium chloride, that's N14 ammonium chloride. Some of the E. coli bacteria, transfer in the medium of N14 ammonium chloride, that is normal nitrogen, not the isotope or heavy, not the heavy nitrogen. In the second experiment, they transfer the bacteria which grew on the N15 medium. They transfer these bacteria in the N14 ammonium chloride, that is normal, that have the normal nitrogen. So nitrogen, what happens is, when or after 20 minutes, they again reproduce or undergoes in replication, and then after they reproduce after 20 minutes, 20 minutes, then they again with the help of cesium chloride, they isolate or separate the DNA molecule from the bacteria, and the centrifugation process. By the centrifugation process, the DNA again collected at the near the bottom. लेकिन what happened with the second experiment? They, after the centrifugation process, in the second experiment, they got the two strand or two bands near the bottom. That two strands, that is one strand, and here is second strand. So with the this one, when they did the experiment, in the second experiment, what happened with their experiment? They got the two strand of two bands of DNA. One represent the N15 band, which is near the bottom, and above to the N15 band there is, according to the Michelson and Strehol, that was the N14 strand. So, but both present near each other. So that means within the 20 minutes, when the E. coli bacteria undergoes in replication process, in the replication process they need to synthesize the new strand of DNA, and they use the nitrogen which is present in the medium, or in the medium, that nitrogen was N14 nitrogen. N14, that means normal, but the parental strand was formed by the N15 nitrogen. So by the centrifugation process, that shows after 20 minutes they undergoes in replication, and they form the newly synthesized they form the new DNA, and the new DNA synthesized from the N14 nitrogen. But because of the parent have the N15 strand of DNA, or when the new daughter cell synthesized, they have the one parental DNA, also have the newly synthesized DNA. So that's why the both strands occur in the test tube by the centrifugation process, or the when they use the density gradient experiment, or by the density gradient experiment, or cesium chloride can help in the separation of these two strands of DNA. That's why because of the separation of these two strands, that's why the two bands occur. And 15 have the strands only, that strand only that was formed by the N15 nitrogen, and the N14 band have the strands of DNA which was generally formed by the N14 nitrogen. Now let us discuss in the third experiment what they did in the third experiment. They again they carry on these experiment which was done with the normal ammonium chloride, with the help of normal ammonium chloride. Then after after 40 minutes they observed that after 40 minutes they again collect the bacteria from the N14 medium in the third experiment. After 40 minutes they again collect the bacteria which grew on the N14 medium, or with the help of cesium chloride or centrifugation process, both the strands again get separated with each other, get separated, and in the third test tube by the centrifugation process they observe that one band shows, here is the second band, and here is. Now what happened with the third experiment? They got the two band. One band which is present near the bottom shows the hybrid, that means the band near the bottom are hybrid of the two strand N15 or N15 or N14, and one strand gets separated from these two present separately, and above the N14 or N15 band they show only the N14 strand. So with the third experiment they actually obtained these two bands. Now collectively, let us discuss collectively what they did with the experiment. In three experiment which was done by the Michelson and Strehal in 1958. Now first they grew the bacteria in the N15 medium. That N15 medium represents the heavy isotope, or when they with the help of cesium chloride, which cesium chloride help or function as a density gradient, or with the help of cesium chloride after the centrifugation process, because the bacteria can reproduce after 20 minutes. So they isolate that bacteria after 20 minutes, then with the help of cesium chloride or centrifugation process they isolate their DNA, or by the centrifugation they obtain the band near the bottom. So they consider that because the bacteria grew on the N15 medium or N15 ammonium chloride, so that's why the bacteria have the DNA which is formed by the N15 nitrogen. So they represent that the band which obtained by the centrifugation process actually have the N15 nitrogen. That's why they appear near the bottom. Now after 20 minutes, then they transfer that bacteria which have the N15 nitrogen or isotope, heavy nitrogen isotope in their genetic material, transfer into the N14 medium. So in the N14 medium, ammonium chloride, N14 medium, in after 20 minutes what they observe, because bacteria reproduce after 20 minutes, so the two bands appear, but both the bands are so close to each other. So close to each other, that means they represent the two type of bands or two type of two type of strand. The strand which is formed by the N15 nitrogen and the strand which is formed by the N14 nitrogen, because the bacteria or E. coli which is formed by the N15 or have the N15 nitrogen in their genetic material, transfer into the medium or medium of normal ammonium chloride, or have ammonium chloride have the N14 nitrogen. When they transfer in N14, because bacteria have the ability, they can reproduce after 20 minutes, so they use the medium nitrogen for the replication process, or due to this reason they have the genetic material of N14. When they undergoes in the synthesis process, because in the medium there is no any N15 nitrogen in the medium, so for the synthesis of new DNA they use the N14 nitrogen. They use the N14 nitrogen for the newly synthesized, for the formation of new DNA strand. That's why the two bands appear near the bottom. Now then after they again observed after 15 minutes in the medium, they didn't change the medium. The medium was same, N14 medium. They again centrifugation done the centrifugation process and the replication process in the E. coli bacteria, or in the E. coli bacteria they reproduce after 20 minutes. So they got the two bands, one band which has hybrid in nature, or the second band which is formed by the N14 medium. That represent what the meaning of this band. Now here is N14 or N15, the heavy strand. That means when they grew the bacteria in N15, the both strand of DNA molecule is formed by the N15 nitrogen. So when they transfer the bacteria in the N14 medium, so after 20 minutes the there is need for the replication, because without replication the E. coli cannot be reproduced. So because of the reproduction process, they have to replicate their genetic material. They have to replicate their, here are the N15 strand. For the new DNA synthesis, the nitrogenous bases which are used in the synthesis of new DNA, because they have in the medium, they grow in the medium of N14 ammonium chloride. So they use for the synthesis so they use these nitrogen, N14 nitrogen, for the synthesis of new DNA. So new DNA have the N14, or here is also the new DNA synthesized and the N14. So that's why this reason, because of this reason, after 20 minutes, they have the bands the bands which are formed inside the test tube are hybrid in nature, because of this nature, because one strand is parental and the second strand is the newly synthesized, which is formed by the, so they that's why they use the different density different isotope for differentiating between the newly synthesized DNA and the parental DNA. For example, after 40 minutes, what they observe, then this strand also undergoes in replication, or this strand is also undergoes in replication. So we can separate this strand. So and here is N15, or here is newly synthesized DNA N14. Now here is N14, the parental strand, because they are present in the N14 medium. So N14, the strand both have the N14 medium strand, N14 nitrogenous base in their strand. For example, this strand in 14 and the newly synthesized strand, when they form, they also have the N14 nitrogen, and here is N15, and from N15 nitrogen, and when newly synthesized DNA form, they also have the N14. So that's why, because of this N15 N14 or N15 N14, so that hybrid strand are appear near the bottom because of the heavy nitrogen, and here both the strands are N14, so that's why they appear at the top of the test tube. So top of the test tube, because of this nature, semi-conservative nature, and the semi-conservative nature, and shows by the N15 and 14 nitrogenous bases. So this was the overall experimental proof was done by the Matthew Michelson and Franklin Esterhall in 1958. So I hope you like this video. So student, here is the experiment was done by the Michelson and Esterhall, and according to them, the DNA is semi-conservative, and Watson and Crick also, the DNA was the semi-conservative in nature, because one strand of DNA is parental and the second strand is newly synthesized or daughter DNA. So I hope you like this video. So in next class we will discuss the next topic.